Okay, so the challenge was that we would each write our own story, and we're gonna read them all aloud and see whose story, well, not who's the best, it's not a contest so much as it's just to see how creative can each of us be and where do our creative little noggins go. The topic of the day is mermaids, snakes, and kings. So each of us had to write a story about a mermaid, a snake, and a king. And we had a timer, and the timer went off. And now Graycie shall read her story first. Alrighty, Booger. Let's hear your mermaid, a king, and a snake story.
Once upon a time, there was a king. The king's castle lived on an island over the sea. What he didn't know was there was a mermaid living in the sea. And one day the king saw her. They introduced themselves, and the king got a tank for the mermaid to live in his castle. One day, a snake got in the castle. The king was shocked, but the mermaid caught the snake and made the snake a cage to live in with them. And all of them lived happily ever after.
So the king made the mermaid a cage, who then made the snake a cage.
This is the problem. And then this is the problem picture, and then this is the solution picture.
Cage for the snake. What's in the bottom? It's the bottom part of the picture.
That's
Not that,
the snake.
Side. The king and
The mermaid.
That's better. All right, Piper, let's hear your story about a mermaid and a king and a snake.
Okay, once upon a time there was a king. He loved snakes, so he bought one as a pet. One day he decided to go to a lake. He said, "Mermaids aren't real. I don't expect to see one." To his surprise, he saw one. She went to the surface to say hi. The king took his snake and ran as fast as he could to his castle because he was shocked. The mermaid grew legs and decided to be sorry to the king for scaring him. The guards wouldn't let her in. She said, "I am here to say sorry to the king. I accidentally scared him earlier." They let her in and she gasped because the castle was glorious. She said sorry, and after that, she befriended the king, and they lived happily ever after.
Very nice.
End.
Do you want me to record yours?
So she made an apology for startling the king and his snake. I like it. So far, 2 good stories.
At the very end, can we judge what we rate each other's on their paper?
If you would like to.
Okay.
All right, here's Daddy's story. The mermaid, the snake, and the king. But I want a snake that doesn't eat... No, I'm sorry. But I want a snake that eats mermaids, Billy yelled at the Goblin King. There's no such things as mermaids or snakes, young man, the Goblin King said to his son. But there are. I dreamt it, and we both know that my dreams always come true. Billy believed this to be so, and even his dad knew it wasn't false. Listen, son, just because you dreamed for a dad who would be a king doesn't mean a mermaid-eating snake will happen. But Dad, I also wished to be in a family of goblins. Yes, you did, the Goblin King sighed. But you must be careful of what you wish and what you dream, for there could be consequences. Well, I still want a snake that eats mermaids, and I plan to dream of it tonight, so So Billy stuck his tongue out at his Goblin King dad, and he did just that. He went to bed thinking about snakes that ate mermaids. And there's a lesson to be learned here, children, for you see, talking defiantly towards your parents, as his father had said with bad dreams, could have consequences. And that's when he heard it. A hissing sound. He opened his eyes, and there at the foot of his bed was a snake. A snake that looked just like his Goblin King father. I did it, he said. But it was the last thing that he said. For as he said it, he looked at the mirror across the room and saw the mermaid boy looking back at him, lying in his bed. The end.
Wait, he saw the mermaid boy looking back at him?
In the mirror.
Oh
which
my,
means
oh
what?
no. He is the mermaid and his dad is the snake who's going to eat him.
That's right.
That's good.
I think they're both fantastic stories because they had lessons in them. Next story. so this time the story was a dragon child that is scared of humans. Pardon my terrible handwriting. Piper, would you like to go first this time since Graycie went first last time?
Sure. So it starts off. There was a dragon child named Matilda. Matilda hates humans. So she decided to never bring up humans to her parents or tell them her fear. One day, a human managed to get into Matilda's room while she went on a flying competition. She came home after winning and plopped on her bed and shrieked and shooted fire out of her nose for a complete minute. She saw the human. Her parents rushed upstairs, only to see that Matilda opened her window and flew off. She came back a few weeks later to check that the human was gone. Turns out they weren't. They were laughing with her parents. Matilda felt betrayed and smacked her hand on the kitchen table and said, "How dare you invite a human into my house without warning me?" She sat down and pouted. The kid decided to say sorry, and the kid and the dragon talked. They had a lot in common, and they became best friends. They had to live together, but Matilda didn't mind. She said, "My name is Matilda, what about you?" The human said, "I'm Lucy, you want to go flying now?" They both laughed, and Matilda said, "Race ya."
Wow. So she actually wound up becoming best friends with the human.
Yes.
And they lived together and
You made a
everything.
copy mine.
She didn't copy yours, she's writing her own story.
Or we have best friends have similar minds.
All right.
Yeah,
Gracie's story about the dragon child scared of humans.
It's called The Boys and the Dragon. One day there was a dragon. He was The dragon was 500 years young. He was terrified of humans. One day the little boys named Caleb and Christian came across the dragon. That's my brother's names. The dragon saw. He flew and hid. The twins said, "It's okay. We won't hurt you, we promise." The boys said, "You can..." Wait, no. I accidentally skipped a part. Oh. One day the little boys named Caleb and Christian came across the dragon. Then to their surprise, they gasped. Once the dragon saw, he flew and hid. The twins said, "It's okay, we won't hurt you, we promise." The dragon came out. Hi, said the dragon. The boy said, "You can talk?" Yes, said the dragon. "Whoa," said Caleb. The boy said, "What's your name?" "Oh, I'm Flashy." "Whoa, cool name," the boy said. "Thanks," said Flashy. "Well, what's your names?" "Oh, I'm Caleb," said Caleb, "and I'm Christian." "Whoa, I like your names," said Flashy. "Let's be friends," said the twins. "Sure," said Flashy. Every day they met up, and Flashy got over his fear, and the boys went home to tell their sister Graycie and Gabriel. But he saw fire tracks on the ground, and Graycie and Gabriel were gone. To be continued. Dun, dun, dun!
Oh my goodness. Where'd the fire come from? Oh my goodness. Did another dragon burn their house down?
Or was it their mom, or was it the dragon just pretending?
Wow. All right, my dragon child scared of human story. Sir Geoffrey kissed his wife upon the brow, and he promised he would be okay. "My love, I swear it to you that I will find the home of your dreams, and we will make a life there." "Yes, my love, but you are a knight of the round table, and the king needs you here." "Indeed, but one day I will leave, and when I do, I plan a large family for the two of us." "If you truly desire it, my knight." She kissed him gently on his cheek, and she bade him farewell. Sir Geoffrey traveled far, over mountains, through valleys, and across oceans. He heard rumors of the most beautiful land in all the earth, but it was said to be inhabited by flying beasts who breathed fire and picked their teeth with the bones of soldiers.
Oh.
But he wanted the most beautiful land, so he made up his mind. He would slay the beasts. He would make a home for he and his lovely bride, and they would return upon his departure from knighthood. He traveled further, and he came again to another place. And then he traveled again, and he came to a sign that said, "Beware, there be dragons here." Dragons?
There be.
Could this be the beast that he'd heard of? Then he came to yet another sign, which said, "Seriously, turn around. Dragons here do abound." But he was not afraid. Yet there, a mile down the road, one more sign. "What's your deal? I'm for real. A dragon will make for you a meal." He laughed at the sign, and he proceeded forward nonetheless. Just then, he heard a startling scream, but of such high pitch and volume that he thought for sure it was a giant. He looked up, and above him flew a four-legged flying lizard with crystal scales and massive wings. Yet it seemed to be fleeing from him. "Stop, beast!" he hollered. The lizard beast stopped, landed with a furrow, and turned to face him. It said, and he heard nothing but hollering and roaring. The beast realized this, and it did a big and it spit a fiery phlegm at him, which caked his head and ran down his jowls and across his ears. And suddenly the hollering made sense, and he could understand it. "Please don't hurt me, for I'm the last of my kind. My parents were slain by soldiers such as yourself." The knight frowned, but the land was so beautiful. "Dragon, can we live in peace with one another, just you and my bride and I?" "I'm so scared." "Fear not, for I am a knight at King Arthur's round table, and I shall protect you if you will reciprocate with your fiery breath." The dragon conceded, and the soldier returned to his wife. And then, 3 years later, they traveled to the beautiful land of the last crystal dragon, where they live together to this day. The end.
Wow.
First judger is my the ruler. That guy.
I judge that both of you guys did an awesome job. You both had a similar theme, which was friendship and overcoming your fears to make friends of those who you otherwise didn't think you could be friends with.
Christian and Kayla.
And you use your brother's names. And I like the theme of friendship. I like making friends with people who you otherwise don't think you could be friends with. So I give you both a 10.
Great. Thumbs up. Okay.
Gonna dance.
Great storytelling, guys. I think you're both definitely gifted storytellers. You have a future in this if you decide to actually continue to flex those creative muscles and write these things. And
I'm deciding to flex my creative muscles and marine biology.
I'm deciding to.
well, that's a good way to flex them too. In the meantime,
Good
continue
day.
to live creatively. Have fun with your kiddos.
Is this all basic dad stuff?
No.
This is half basic dad stuff.
And, till next time.
Basic dad stuff and bye.